It's topless, it's white, and it's kind of old. No, we're not talking about your grandma. We're talking about the Speedster Gunther. Now, you guys have watched me do an actual review of this car when I first got it. And one of the things I say at Exotic Car Hacks is that we're not mental masturbators. We don't borrow cars here, meaning this is my personal car. It's owned by me. I actually paid 7 figures for it. And unlike a lot of YouTube reviewers can't do or can't even get near these things, I actually buy these things to give you my honest opinion of them. So I don't give a shit what manufacturers think. But the original review of this when I first got it was what a driving experience and what a beautiful piece of art. From the carbon fiber wheels to the little details in the headlights, this is something very interesting. And many people have said this is very similar to a Singer. Is it? Is it not? And so today, since so many of you guys have requested and I hadn't forgotten about it, we are going to drive the Speedster 54 Heritage that I bought and talk about what works, what doesn't. And before we go fully into that, I want to show you some of the details again because I feel like my first video was lost in translation because it was too rushed. But listen, spending some time with these cars is the only way to really know how good they are or not. So this review might be a little bit longer, but it might be probably one of the only reviews on the internet from an actual owner's perspective of actually, does it make sense to pay 7 figures for one of these things? And let me tell you something, I struggled with this for over a year. Like, do I pay 7 figures for an old ass 1997 Porsche? I mean, you can buy so many cars. Like, you can buy a Senna, not this Senna, but you can buy a really cool Senna, like in black or in blue or whatever, around the same price that you can buy a Gunther. And if you look at this versus that, well, that's like crazier. You can buy an Elva for around that. You can buy 765s times 2. There's so many cars you can buy for $1 million. So this car has so much to basically like live for, like prove that it is worth the 7-figure price tag. And that's what we're going to talk about today at Exotic Car Hacks. Let's first start spending very, very little time. You can watch the previous video talking about the Gunther itself. 54 Heritage Edition, 25 Speedsters built. Each one of them is a one-of-one commission. This is a very special car. Now, I've seen a lot of Speedsters. Obviously, they're 25s. I've started seeing them pop up on Gunther as they're being delivered between 24 and 25. And something to note, if you're looking at stickers on these cars, they had a huge price increase between 24 and 25. So if you have one of the early models that got delivered early, you got lucky and saved 200 to 300K because the new sticker, instead of $1 million, is now 1.2 million for the very same car. So there are some things to note that I haven't seen on other cars that I think are pretty cool generally. The carbon fiber wheels, something very rare that I haven't seen on other Speedsters, I think makes a significant difference. This thing is absolutely gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous with that. And that I haven't noticed anywhere else. The paint, again, a very heritage cream with a hint of blue in it, brings back the old memories of the 90s Supras when they were pearl white. This is a really, really pretty paint in person. I don't know how well it's gonna come out when it comes to this like video generally, but the details on this car are second to none. You can see this, you know, through the headlights. You can see this through all the little bolts and pins of everything on the inside. It's just perfection. It's like art. This reminds me of a Pagani, and let me kind of explain what I mean by that. With a Pagani, you're not really getting like a race car. You're getting a piece of art you can drive. And this car reminds me of that, but like a cheap version. What I mean by that is the Pagani is like a $3 million like work of art, and this is a $1 million work of art. The only thing this really doesn't have to it is it doesn't have the hypercar feel and size and everything else, but it has the details well beyond what you would expect from McLaren, Lamborghini. I mean, this is built cleaner, sexier than a lot of these hypercars here, and yet it's just very small, built off of a 1997 911. So, you know, it's still a 911, but it's different. And so there's a lot of different components to this that you don't really get to like talk about on the internet because people aren't really driving them or owning them. Some are good, some are bad. The details are flawless. Take a look at this engine. The suspension, unbelievable. Look at the details here. Look at how clean and spectacular. This car has 200 miles on the clock. Cars like these are usually kept very, very well, but look at how beautiful this looks. This is like literally art. And I adore when you can see details like that because it allows the art spectrum of cars to come out. So there is a lot of beauty in this that is really like unspoken, and in videos does not do this justice. You have to see these things in person to really understand them. But today we're not really talking about how cool or how many details. Even the trunk area is just absolutely stunning. Today we're gonna drive it because it's about the driving experience. I actually recently gave the keys to one of my friends and he drove the car and he said, I'm actually glad it's not that fast because it allows you to enjoy the car. But that's how I felt the first time I drove it. Like the first time I drove it, I thought it was superb, exciting, different, unique. But you know, after driving it 20, 30 times, there's a lot to discuss today. So let's go for a drive, let's really feel it out, and let's see, does this car live up to its $1 million price tag? Or is it just another RWB in disguise? You know, so you really have two characteristics to the car, and this is very true. It drives like a 911 until you press this sport button right here, and then it drives like a 911 on cocaine. Now, when I say cocaine, I mean like a cat just put his whole fucking face in a cocaine box and doesn't know what the fuck's going on, so it's jumping off the walls.
Oh my, what is wrong with you, dude?
You hear every single RPM. Listen to this. It's just, it sounds amazing. Like it really, really sounds really good because it has a naturally aspirated feel that it's been years we haven't had in cars. And I can really understand the purest idea of why this car is so popular amongst drivers. Like I get that part, trust me. I really, really, really understand it. And I respect it. I respect what it is, regardless that I think it's worth $1 million or not. But right away, there's just a little bit of a feel to this that I don't know if it's tolerable as a cruiser. It's a race car, so the race car part is really fun. The naturally aspirated motor, really fun sounding, very responsive, lots of RPMs all the way to like 8,000. Superb, like superb. Bluetooth radio, AC from the old days, the new Bluetooth updated Porsche, so at least you have this, you have no backup camera. That's a little bit of a problem, and I'm gonna explain why. I know you didn't have one back then, like I used to drive back then, for those of you that are fucking 8 years old, I know. So this is not the problem, but these mirrors are the problem. These mirrors are notoriously dog shit. So you basically can't see anything going on out of that mirror. This mirror you can see because it's close by. That one doesn't tilt enough to actually see like really like what's happening, and it's got this weird like fisheye thing going on, so very difficult to see out of that mirror. So you basically only have these two mirrors. That's okay, like you don't drive this every day, it doesn't even have a roof, so it's just not necessarily like a bad thing. The headlights are beautiful, and listen to this. Amazing. It's like it wants to be alive, and it wants to hit like 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs. Like it's like a whore from the 70s that's coming born again in the 90s. And then now she's discovering the 2000s and OnlyFans, and she's like thrilled she can get money all the time. That's what this car feels like. It's reborn in the 90s to now, and it's just like fantastic. You know, the pedals are a little bit too close for my taste, and the reason I say this is because I'm wearing these fucking $2,000 Hermes shoes, and the sole, and no, I don't wear shoes to make me taller. I'm proud to be 5'7", unlike fucking Wes Watson. We know you're 5'8", you piece of shit, and because we know you're 5'8", so does your fucking criminal record, but some of us are proud to be short and are fine, you know? And outside of that, very simplistic control, even has this piece for your phone, actually works for an Android, so you know the guy that built this was actually intelligent. So it's a little bit larger, so even a larger phone would fit here. All of this stuff is really well done, and the rest really seems to be 911 analog-ish, which also works. So there's really not much to complain about when it comes to this car. Like, it smells of gas often, but I'm going to say that I think the reason it smells of gas was primarily because the guy that owned this lived in California before me, And I think they only have 91 gas in California because they're gay. So because they're gay and they drive Teslas there all the time, 91 gas is basically all they have access to, which is like really weird to me. So anyways, so the point I was trying to make is the pedals are kind of uncomfortable and really require you to be attentive at all times. And the actual like steering wheel feels amazing. It feels right. The stability of the car, I'm not sure. Once you go out of track mode, like once you go out of comfort mode and into sport or track mode, the driving becomes very, very rough. And I don't know that that's exactly where I'd put it, because I don't really see it as a track car. I don't see the chassis being solid enough for that. I see it more as a spirited driving car. And the power is really there. Like I'm telling you, I can't even imagine what the new slant nose is gonna be like with 1,000 horsepower, because this is plenty of power for what the car is. It's very lightweight, you can feel it. It sounds amazing. And in every gear, like you just hear this. Like, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing sounding. And it connects you to the road in an incredible way that I just can't, you can't describe this shit. You actually have to like drive it and feel it. It's unbelievable, listen to it. Like, absolutely nuts, right? Absolutely nuts. And even people take videos, pictures. Like, it's a work of art. It sounds amazing. It drives amazing. And that's a really fat ass with a dog. But anyways, back to what we're talking about. This car is unbelievable in so many ways. I asked myself, I said, do I want to be in this car more than another car of the same dollar? So I disagreed with the Ford GT. The new Ford GT wasn't that exciting. It didn't excite me after a while, and every time I would choose what car to get into, it was never that car. So those are the things that are not answered here, because I haven't owned this like for 2-3 years. I don't know that I think this is worth $1 million or not. I don't think there's a better spirited driving car under 500. I don't think there's a better, maybe spirited driving car, even at say under like 600-700. But $1 million's rough, and I'll tell you why it's rough, because the 765 creates an immense driving experiences, an immense one. Spider, top down, hardtop, and does an incredible job, like incredible job at turning into a normal car and into a spirited race car and then a track car all at once. Like, amazing job. And for that reason, I think it's just unbelievably like good as a car, and it's only like 550 grand for a Spider. So I don't know that this being $1 million is like that much better. Like, fine, for a guy like me who's got 30 fucking cars, yeah, it's great. Like, it's fantastic because it's different. Everybody like talks to you about it. What is that? Holy shit, it's amazing, blah, 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 and all these things. Like, that's great. But it, like, I just don't see it at $1 million. And I'll tell you one of the final ways I just know it's probably not $1 million car, meaning like it's not worth the million, even though it's an amazing machine and incredible in every way possible. And I understand why they say it's like $1 million, because the details are really there. It's, trust me when I say the details make it look like $1 million, so you don't feel ripped off. And that's not what I want to mean. And I want to give the guys at Gunther a lot of credit for building a really amazing fucking car, because it takes a lot of effort and it's difficult. But the part that I think is just really important to note here is that you're competing in a free market and in a car market that has a lot of cars out there and a lot of competition. And for all that competition, I don't know that I would spend $1 million on there, unless, just like me, this was your 10th car, 15th car or something, and you were so bored of the average shit, like the Ferraris, you had the LaFerrari, you had the Bugatti, you had the 918. I think the 918 at $2 million, I'd pay that all day, 10 times even at $3 million. I don't know that I'd pay this multiple times at $1 million. I think it's a really good car, and I think that's also why the price struggles to break the $1 million mark on the used secondary market. I think this has a lot to do with it, because it just suffers from that. What else can you buy at $1 million? And there's so many other alternatives. So is this worth the $1 million in terms of its beauty, its quality, and what it is? Probably. If you don't have already a collection of hypercars, would I then say this is worth $1 million? Definitely not. There are better cars you can buy for a lot less money, and they're more exciting than this. That's my honest opinion. Again, we'll have a 1-year review if I even keep it that long. But I'll tell you, one of the ways that I know that it isn't that $1 million worth of a car for me specifically is because I look at it and I say, would I trade this in if I had an opportunity to buy something nicer and I needed $1 million? Yeah, it would probably go. Would I trade in my Countach? No. Would I trade in my 918? No. Would I trade in my Bugatti? No. Would I trade this in? Probably. And the answer really comes down to what matters to me is $1 million needs to have status on the road. And this doesn't. What it does have is heritage. And that's a very different thing. So if that matters to you, and you're a real driver, a real purist, and status has nothing to do with anything for you, then this is great. So that's my review. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you want to hear more about honest reviews from owners, not so much individuals that jerk off on the internet. And make sure you let us know in the comment, what do you think? I know there's a lot of hype and love for these cars. Do you think these cars are worth the $1 million price? And I'd love to know your thoughts and hear more at Exotic Car Hacks. Thanks again, guys, and we'll catch you next time.